In the short term, Bitcoin's price has tumbled from 74,000 all the way down to about 69,000. And the interesting thing about that price is that 69,000 is the previous all-time high from 2021. And the market is attempting to make that a new support in this range. Though this is all very short-term price action, if we go back to the weekly chart, Bitcoin is well within the parabolic trend, which we've been discussing since the beginning of 2023, that the likelihood of a parabolic trend forming was there. And in one of our previous videos, while we were below the all-time high, we discussed the parabolic diagram from the textbook pointing to a price target of 90,000. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin Svenson, and today we're going to be discussing the epic parabolic trend that Bitcoin is currently in. And we are sitting at one of the steepest points in the trend. And whenever you get to a steep point like this, the volatility tends to increase. If you go back to 2017, from the all-time high of 1,200 to 20,000, multiple 40% corrections, and Bitcoin so far in this run has not seen a 40% correction. And what would 40% be from this current point? That would be a pullback to about 44,000. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to pull back to 44,000 because we have not confirmed a top yet. Further expansion of the trend is quite likely. Looking at Bitcoin in 2017, this was a parabolic trend. When we were in this trend, this was what the parabola looked like. Bitcoin's price came up almost to 3,000, and then we broke the trend line, the parabolic trend line, and created a higher low, and the trend line expanded into a larger parabolic trend. And this is something that we must consider, that Bitcoin's price is likely not going to go up in a straight line forever, though it could go higher from here. Like we discussed in that previous video, the target of this parabolic trend is 90,000. Looking at the textbook diagram of an exponential trend, every time the price touches the trend line and then bounces, that is considered a base. So you have base 1 at the bottom, base 2 coming in on this trend line here, and then base 3 coming in right here, because again, every time you hit the trend line, that is a base formation. And so Bitcoin is actually not finished with base 4. We don't have a confirmed top, and the price action has not traded into the trend line just yet. So that means that going into this zone, there's likely going to be a lot of volatility. Bitcoin's price could see all kinds of swings. We could go to 80,000, come back to 55,000, bounce again, up above 70,000, pull back in the mid 60s, run again. And this would all be within a parabolic trend. That is how crazy these trends can get, and it will make your head spin, guys. Your head is gonna spin when you see these swings take place. You're not even gonna know what's going on. So that is the update on the parabolic trend. We have not completed base 4 because we have not traded into the trend line. So from base 3, that's about $45,000, and the textbook suggests a 2x from this level, which lands us at, well, 90,000 would be the price. And at this point, there is a lot of momentum, and I do think that it is possible for Bitcoin to chop around in this range, form base 4, and then get a final extension. Is that going to be the top of the run? Is that going to be the end of the bull market? Well, that's hard to say. It's not something that I would want to call out right now. It's more likely, like 2017, that once you hit a price like that, you break the parabolic trend and then form a larger parabolic trend. And we still have another month until the halving takes place. It is currently March 14th, and around February 14th, the price had just come off of 40,000, and now we're at 70. In almost a month, the price goes from like 45,000 to 70,000, guys. That's huge. And these parabolas can blow your mind more than you ever thought possible. We could go from 70,000 to 90,000 in a month. And then the halving would take place. And sure, that would probably end up being some kind of sell the news event, but it doesn't mean that the bull market is over. We can continue on later on in this year, depending on how it plays out. Now, the more bearish scenario, the pessimistic scenario that should always be considered, is that Bitcoin is topping out here now. That is only going to be something that we know if we trade into the trend line and then break it. Right? If we do that sooner rather than later, rather than bounce off the trend line, that's when we're going to know. And it's going to take weeks. Again, Bitcoin's price can come all the way down to like 56,000, and we're still going parabolic at that point. I'm not saying it's gonna come back down there, but what the point I'm trying to make is that you can get a lot of volatility and still maintain this trend. Now, if we dive into the short term, go to the 4-hour chart, you can see that the market is trying to hold the previous 2021 69,000 all-time high price as new support. And that would be a pretty impressive resistance to support flip if that was achieved. And when you look closely at the 4-hour chart, what you see are these wicks. And these wicks, you could call these demand wicks. Whenever the price has a sharp dip, quickly it's bought up, forming demand wicks. Basically what it is a representation of high demand for Bitcoin. Anytime there's a slight discount, bang, we actually just get bought right back up. Before today's move, the price always made a higher low on these demand wicks. It was always a higher low wick. And now we do see a slight move down, a slight lower low. And that can indicate slowed momentum, maybe some weakness, increased selling interest. Any large players that hold a lot of Bitcoin that bought at these low levels will probably love to take some profit at a new all-time high. I mean, that's just cash in the bank. That's just money. That's just profit for them. That's all they really think about. So you can see multiple rounds of profit taking in this zone, sort of pushing the price, slowing the momentum down. And if you look at the Bitcoin daily chart and you take a look at the MACD, Bitcoin's MACD is showing negative momentum. You can see the MACD is kind of close to a cross. But if we do cross down on the MACD, we want to be actually getting confirmation on the price action. What that would mean here, just like this zone near 50,000, where we didn't get price breakdown confirmation, if we take a line and we place it right where we just bounced, that's about the zone. The previous all-time high is 69,000 roughly. That is the area that the price would have to break with a MACD cross down in order to confirm a bearish shift, bearish momentum truly returning to the market. So we're not there yet. Those confirmations have not shown up yet. If we can hold 69,000, previous all-time high, we'll probably just have an even more parabolic run. But if you start breaking that price, 69,000, that is a psychological level. And also if you get the MACD cross down while breaking down, and if the RSI can no longer hold 70 with daily close confirmation, then we'll probably get a pullback towards the parabolic trend line for about a month before maybe getting that bounce off the parabola. But if we hold 69,000 and we just bounce and hit new highs once again, that means that we may actually end up getting a much further extension than people expect. This textbook diagram suggests that about 90,000 would be the peak of this run. So even if we do pull back for about a month, hit the trend line bounce, it would still be a target of about 90,000, according to the textbook. And then after that happens, does that mean it's the end of the cycle? Well, we'll have to see as we get there. Just like 2017, we can always form a larger parabolic trend. A lot of price action coming up, guys. It's gonna get crazy, it's gonna get wild. So strap in, like and subscribe to this channel. Looking at Patreon, I think we have a few slots open in Patreon right now. I'll open up some more. We do altcoin picks. We also do trade setups with all the altcoins popping off. I know a lot of you guys have probably noticed that I haven't been posting videos the past few days, but that's because I've been trading the altcoin market a lot and just taking advantage of all the price action that we're seeing right now. So be sure to join the Patreon. There is a 16% annual discount. And this is the last time I'm gonna offer this price. I'm gonna be increasing the price of Patreon, but you can lock in this price now for a lifetime. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.